Ex-EastEnders star Brooke Kinsella has blasted MPs as 6 people are knifed to death in London in as many days. Brooke, 37, is devastated that knife crime is still destroying so many lives 12 years after her brother Ben, 16, was fatally stabbed in the street. She is furious, so many chances to tackle the crime have been wasted. She said, "What angers me most is that after 12 years of campaigning against knife crime, nothing seems to have changed. Why has it proven so difficult for successive governments to implement a solution to end knife crime?" Her impassioned plea for action comes in the wake of a sickening spate of stabbings. On Monday, Kamal Nuur, 18, was chased and knifed to death on a housing estate in Islington, North London, yards from the spot where Ben was killed, the 5th murder in 5 days. On the same day, 2 teenagers were also stabbed outside their schools in Eltham and Bromley, southeast London. And less than 24 hours later, the death toll rose to 6 when Jaden Christie, 20, was killed in Lambeth, South London. Brooke, who was Kelly Taylor in EastEnders for 3 years from 2001, said, "The bottomless grief, shock and anger that I felt then has suddenly resurfaced. I despair that another family is now having to come to terms with the unmeasurable loss of losing a son and brother." Close quote. Last year, London's murder rate was the highest in more than a decade, with 149 people killed, 90 in stabbing attacks. And latest Office for National Statistics figures show knife crimes in England and Wales have risen 6% to a new record high. In the capital they are up 7%. Stats also reveal police recorded offences involving a knife or sharp instrument for the year to March rose to 46,265, from 43,706 in the previous 12 months. The highest rate was in London, where over a third of all crimes were recorded, with 179 offences per 100,000 people. Brooke, who helped form the Ben Kinsella Trust to help tackle knife crime, said, "Since Ben's murder, my family and I have done everything in our power to try and stop this senseless tragedy happening to another family. If I look back at what has happened since Ben's murder, I can see a mass of missed opportunities. It is unforgivable politicians have sat idly by and watched as the organisations that are most effective at stopping knife crime had their funding cut." Close quote. Ben was celebrating his GCSE results when he was killed, the 17th teen stabbed to death in London that year. In 2009, Michael Alleyne, 18, Juress Kika, 19, and Jade Braithwaite, 20, all from London, were convicted at the Old Bailey of Ben's murder. The high-profile case led to widespread anti-knife protests, and then Justice Secretary Jack Straw subsequently changed the minimum tariff for murders committed with a knife from 15 to 25 years. Brooke is calling for more funding for the police, as well as schools and youth services, saying drastic cuts have caused major repercussions to society. She is urging politicians from all parties to come together to commit to funding a long-term program to stop knife crime. She said, "It is time to invest in young people, support the police and tackle the social inequalities that allow criminals to lure vulnerable youngsters into gangs and knife crime." "This week has been crushing, but I am determined to stay strong and carry on fighting," to stop other families having to go through the same pain and devastation." Close quote. The Home Office said, "We're doing everything in our power to make our streets safer, including recruiting 20,000 additional police officers over the next 3 years and providing the most substantial increase in police funding in a decade." The government has committed £176.5 million to the Serious Violence Fund to tackle the root causes of this complex issue at a local level, including establishing violence reduction units to ensure a more joined-up approach and significantly bolstering the police response in 18 of the most affected areas, including London. The Offensive Weapons Act 2019 also introduced new knife crime prevention orders which provide police with the means to steer those most at risk away from serious violence. Close quote.